Welcome back to The Person Everyone Needs. I'm your host, Webb, and I am thrilled today. We're going to continue conversations with a 10-year-old, and I have a friend in the studio today that's going to be having a conversation with himself if he could go back and talk to his 10-year-old self. And so I'm so excited to have Craig Good. Now, Craig Good, the reason that he is on this podcast, number one, he's my friend. But secondly, Craig is the one who edits every one of these episodes. And I'm so very thankful for his willingness to help me get this project out there and be a part of the project during the interview. So without further ado, I'm so excited to invite and to introduce my friend, Craig Good.
Well, yes, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here, and I really have always been excited about this project and really excited about this topic about conversations with your 10-year-old self.
Awesome.
I had a few thoughts that I would have shared with my 10-year-old self if I could talk to him right now. The first one would be something that you've kind of touched on where your episode about you're going to make it. When I was 10 years old, I thought that every little thing that happened to me was the ultimate, like it was the end of the world if something bad happened. And
right.
I really struggled to recover from things that happened in my life. If you get a bad grade, it's not the end of the world. There's more tests, there's more quizzes, there's
right.
more years of school. And after that's all over with, no one's going to remember the grade that you had.
Yeah.
So I think I wasted a lot of time worrying about things that were going on that were not ideal.
Yeah, I can see that myself as well. Yeah.
And so now even something I struggle with now is with regret. Anything that happens in your life, it's not too late to recover from. Nothing is going to be something that you can't come back from and work on and improve for next time.
Right.
Another thing is perfectionism. I think that's something that a lot of people our age struggle with. That goes along with that. I wanted to be perfect at everything I did. I didn't want to have anything happen where it was less than perfect. Mm-hmm. And you knowing me, you know that's still something
right.
that is the challenge. I want everything I do to be excellent and perfect and not be able to have any opportunity of failing.
That's why I do the content and you do the editing.
Yeah.
Because my part is imperfect and you have to make it perfect.
There you go. It's a good team.
That's right. Yeah, that's good. So perfectionism is a concern. You wish you could get that through to your 10-year-old self. Like, it's not going to be perfect. It's better to try than to have perfection in your life. And the other thing was that it's going to be okay. There's going to be more opportunities. It's not all over. 10 years old. Why do you think our 10-year-old selves, why didn't we know that?
I don't know. I think we saw people in our life being successful or doing things that we admired, and we just wanted to copy them. And for whatever reason, we didn't see so much of their failures. We just saw the success and not necessarily seeing behind the scenes how they had to grow, how they still fail as well.
Do you think they kept their journey from us? Like, we saw finished products, right? But there was a journey to get to where we've had a journey where you and I are at this point. There's been a journey in between and a lot of imperfection, a lot of second chances throughout all of that. The grace it takes to endure it, like, is that the message we should have heard more of?
Yeah, I guess that's what it is for me, is somehow that was missed in the message. And I think whether it's generational or just everybody, as they become a parent, they want to do some things the same or different as their parents. And maybe now some of the things I see is maybe I didn't see the failures to be able to accept that was okay.
Right.
Not any fault of my parents. That's just the thing that was missed. There's something that we're going to miss with our kids too. And they're going to talk about it in 20 years. We don't know what that is. So.
What else would you say?
So another big thing that I would tell my 10-year-old self is to learn how to be a friend. We're all selfish in our own way. And I think as younger kids, we don't understand that we're being selfish. It's not our goal. It's just kind of our nature. And what we do is think about everything in the world about how it revolves around us. What you're going to eat for dinner, what you're going to play later on, what activities you want to do, how you're going to spend your weekend, all these things. It's just all centered about me. And so how that relates to being a friend is having that mentality when you're around other people of how can I serve them? Mm-hmm. How can I fulfill something that they need? How can I be a friend to this person? Because you don't realize, and this is what I want my 10-year-old self to realize, is you're going to have friends. You're going to have people looking out for you. You're going to be okay. You're going to have fun.
Wow.
Your life is going to be fulfilled.
Yeah.
you don't have to do that for yourself. It's better, I can tell you now, it's better to learn how to be a friend to others, to think about their needs. And there's a fulfillment in that you don't even know exists until you feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you wait once you're older to actually think about that, because I think
Yeah.
I was already an adult before I actually thought, what does thinking about others really mean? What does being a friend to someone else really mean? Because everything revolved just around what I wanted and what I needed.
Yeah. Yeah. That caring for other people is a superpower. I don't think we ever think about it. We only ever think about how people make us feel, but you have the superpower to make others feel special. And until you do that, you're not important to other people.
Yeah.
But as a kid, we have this, like, it's not ego, really, I don't think, but it's this, I'm the center of the world, and people's value is based on how they make me feel. And if that's the case, then we ought to know that everybody else is seeing our value the same way. So we should do all that we can to make others feel special. I wish I'd gotten that one earlier too. I grew up thinking I was the Truman Show. Like, I thought there was cameras around every corner. Thinking, like, oh, it's the Webb Show. Like, everybody's checking me out. And I wish I had woke up to that earlier to see value in other people, because that's what makes you valuable. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that movie, because that is that picture of life revolving around the one person, and
Right.
realizing that there's an outside world out there.
Yeah.
So I've even realized now as an adult, when others talk to me, others acknowledge me, others are that friend to me, just in little ways. And someone who has that nature of being friendly, what that means to me now. And I never really realized that. And to think about what that does for me, realizing what that would do for everyone.
Right.
And as a child to another child, as a child to an adult, just that, having that kind of mindset where you acknowledge others, just simple things. I wasn't good as a kid of just acknowledging someone did something for me and saying thank you.
Wow.
I am introverted, I'm introspective, and I process and I think about all these things, but I realized at some point that I never expressed it out loud to others. And actually, I remember when I was dating my wife, her mother she was doing stuff with fabrics and sewing and things like that, and she made me some like lounge pants. She, measured my waist. And maybe it sounds weird, but like,
yeah,
thinking about it now, like that was a sweet thing, and I wore those things for a long time till they fell apart. But
wow.
Soon after, my wife pointed out to me, "You didn't say thank you or anything for that," and I was like, "I didn't." I was like, "These are amazing. I love these." I really didn't say that, and so I was an adult before I realized that just saying simple things like thank you to somebody is not just necessary, but like basic manners.
Right. How did we lose that along? I mean, how did we not see that? I just think back to some of those basic things. You say basic, right? Yeah. We're the most overeducated generation in history, and some of these basic parts of life, I just feel like no one ever said. My wife, for years in our marriage, I would expect her to just know I was thankful for her. Like, I kept coming home. What else do you need me to do? And I needed to say, like, I love you every once in a while. I need to say you're pretty every once in a while. And I'm like, well, I thought you were pretty when I met you. Like, what? Why do I got to say? Because that's how human beings work. Yeah. They communicate. Things that matter, we should communicate about those things. That's excellent. And man, if I could catch up my 10-year-old self and get that in their mind, it could absolutely change my life. Yeah.
I think you've used this word, but being intentional, that's what the thing that always comes back to me is the things that don't come naturally to you, which for me was like saying thank you. Like, be intentional of saying those kind of things and stop assuming like we did.
Yeah. That's good.
So I mentioned kind of being introverted, introspective about things. I do always like to analyze, and even at a young age, like I didn't vocalize things. I just thought about them and didn't necessarily always say them. So that's why that was a struggle for me, and still is something I have to be intentional about to be the type of person that I want to be. But I do also want to encourage my 10-year-old self, if you're one of those that overthinks, that overanalyze, make sure you do take the time to just be. You don't always have to be thinking and working and even growing. Sometimes you go the other way. That's another thing with the generational thing is we want to overcompensate. We want to compensate, but we end up overcompensating and taking somebody too far the other way. Oh, we're perfectionists, so we want to teach our kids it doesn't matter, nothing matters. Don't even try. Doesn't care. And then they go too far the other way. They don't even try any.
Right.
So
yeah.
I feel like if you're one of those out there, sometimes it's just okay to just stop thinking and just have fun. Just enjoy life. Just do things.
Right.
You don't want to spend so much time thinking about every little action that you take, because like I said, you're going to make it. You don't have to have regret. You can come back from the things that happen.
Even the things, though, you said about being intentional, you're talking about being intentional with gratitude, thankfulness. You're talking about being intentional with letting people know that they matter. I think when we get older, we recognize that there was a lot of people that we should have told thank you to that maybe we can't now, or it would seem out of left field. Sometimes they don't even, you can't go back to those. I know a lot of friends that I have, they regret that they didn't enjoy themselves more in their childhood. And really what it was is they never took the time to say thank you for the wonderful childhood they had. And when you're intentional enough to say these things, you don't have as many regrets.
Yeah.
Well, Craig, these are some really good thoughts. We are often recognizing that we're not as grateful as we should have been for the wonderful things in our life. But do you have any advice for your 10-year-old self of how you deal with people who are not meeting your expectations of what a friend or a human being should be?
Yeah, so for some people, it comes natural to be nice to those who are nice to them. And for some people, like I said, I struggled even knowing how to be nice or have common manners to those who are nice to me and taking care of me. But I definitely overlooked others in my life as a 10-year-old that maybe were looked on as like not as smart or not as valuable for whatever reason. I guess as a best practice in life, treating everyone with respect and honor. God made each person. It's not conscious that you're saying this person is less worthy of love, but like subconsciously somehow you're treating them different because of something that you see. And I would just encourage you to treat everyone with the same respect and honor, because everyone has something to offer.
Wow.
Just because it's not something that you're hoping to get doesn't mean they don't have anything to offer.
And having something to offer, sometimes some of the greatest people you'll meet are people who are not kind. And often that's what we're looking for, like as the first transactional part of our relationship is we want kind people around us. Mm-hmm. But there's some jerks out there that have great value. And you have to get past the veneer. You have to get past the difficult parts. You have to get past the coldness in order to find out that there is diamonds in the rough. And most people who have a hard exterior, they're hoping that anybody in the world will take the time to get past that hard exterior. And that's where you find great people. Sometimes it just takes one relationship to turn all that around. They've been given up on so many times. We don't know the story of other people, right? And I wish I could tell my 10-year-old self, the ones that broke your heart the most are probably walking around with a broken heart. Yeah.
And you've said it before. I think you don't know anyone's story, where they come from and why they are the way they are. And like you said, they are maybe just looking for a friend, and maybe it takes a lot more time, a lot more effort.
So if I remember hearing you correctly, Craig, what you basically said was threefold. Like if you could go to your 10-year-old self, the first thing you would say is, you're going to make it. Don't worry. Don't be so worried about every single moment. Don't be a perfectionist, and also don't be a lollygag. Like you're going to make it. The future is coming, and it's all going to work out the way you want it to. The second thing I heard you say was be intentional about saying thank you. Like be more vocal about the way you really feel and expressing those things. And the last thing I heard was value pretty much everybody. Like find a way to find the value in other people, even when they don't seem valuable to you or they haven't been kind with you. And I guess the reason I wanted to sum it up that way is because if I could create a descriptor for the kind of person that if a 10-year-old could hear those three things, I think that's a 10-year-old. That's a person that everyone needs. Craig, thank you so much for meeting me today and doing this podcast. And I look forward to your work in the future.
Thank you so much.
Craig is definitely a person that everyone needs.